Hi, everybody. This is Mr. Zarzak, and welcome to Physics Underground. So, I wanted to revisit plane mirrors one more time because, well, when you look at an image in a plane mirror, it's pretty good, but it's never quite as good as, well, the real thing. Anyways, so getting back to the plane mirror, the images that we see are carbon copies of the original, but they're not quite as bright. That's because, well, when light strikes the surface of a plane mirror, not all of the light is necessarily reflected off the mirror. Some of it actually gets absorbed into the material and gets lost as thermal energy. Okay, so that just means that for a given reflection, it's kind of like when you actually make a physical copy of something. It's never quite as sharp. It's never quite as good as the real thing. Okay, so to help you see what I'm talking about, I've got a little demonstration, and let me show you what this is before we get to the actual demonstration. So, I've got a mirror here. Hello. Okay, and I've got some stacks of blocks of wood set up on the side here, so that I can take this other mirror that I've got here. Okay, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it on top. So I have two mirrors that are facing one another, and I've also got, you can see here, I've scraped off a little bit of the back of the mirror. This is where the actual reflective part of the mirror is. So I've taken that out, so I've got a little window to look into the mirror. And then I've got a flashlight here I'm going to put down inside just so I can get more light in there. Okay, and so what I've done is I've set up what typically gets referred to as an infinity mirror. So if you look down inside it, okay, you can see that what we're looking at is a reflection of a reflection of a reflection. So I'm looking at the image on one mirror, then an image on the next mirror, and the image on the next mirror, and just reflection after reflection after reflection. And it does go on for a long time, but it doesn't go on forever. You can see that the reflections seem to fade to black, and see, because, well, every time light strikes the surface, some of that light information is lost, okay, because it gets absorbed by the mirror, becomes what's called thermal energy. Okay, pretty neat though. So then over here I have this other mirror that's actually a trick mirror, in the sense that it just looks like an ordinary mirror, but it plugs into the wall and it has a switch. So look what happens when I flip on the switch. Okay, you can see that it's one of those trick mirrors that appears to go on to infinity. Okay, it's really this is just a riff on the demo that I just showed you. So what's really going on here? All right, well, let me turn off the lights that are inside the mirror and turn on the room lights, and then let's revisit this. Okay, so I've got my camera up nice and close to the mirror, and I've got a couple of flashlights just so you can see that when I shine the flashlights, you can actually see there's a oval-shaped cavity that's behind the mirror. So there's a space back there, and there's actually some lights back there that turn on. So what we're really looking at, okay, is a material that, although it's reflective, it's also semi-transparent, which means that some portion of the light can pass through it. If you have a pair of mirrored sunglasses, or if you've just never seen anybody wearing a pair of mirrored sunglasses, okay, it's the same kind of thing. All right, the layering of silver agents that gets put on, in this case, our mirror is just plastic. The silvering agent, the thicker it is, the more that it's going to reflect, and so this is the thin layer so that some of the light will pass through it. It's the same idea if you've seen like an office building during the day that appears to be a mirrored surface, and yet the people inside the office building can see through the windows crystal clear. And so all that we're doing here is turning on the lights that are inside that little cavity. And so you can actually see, if you look closely, there's a little border along the edge of the plastic. And so the back of this little cavity has a mirror, and then so too does the back of this piece of plastic also has a mirror coating on the other side, so that the light that passes through just bounces back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, just like our little infinity mirror demo over here. And so we get this illusion of an infinite reflection, but you can see it now. Okay, the lights, the images do go back pretty far, but they don't go on forever. All right, so when it comes to this thing that we call a reflection, okay, well, light follows this rule of reflection, but light does not necessarily reflect when it strikes a boundary, or at least not all of it does. Okay? All right, this is Mr. Zarzak coming to you from my basement, saying thanks for watching another edition of Physics Underground. See you next time.